There are moments when something leaves your life and nothing replaces it. No explanation follows, no clarity arrives. Only a quiet space remains, and the heart keeps returning to one question it is almost afraid to ask. Was it taken away forever? Or was it removed for a wisdom I cannot see yet? This is not a message about loss. It is about understanding how Allah writes, how He withholds, and how He returns with purpose. Because what comes from Allah is never careless, and what leaves by His will is never empty of meaning. If you have been carrying a silent question inside your chest, this is where you set it down and listen. What Allah writes is never lost, only withheld. When Allah takes something away from your life, it does not mean it was erased from what was written for you. Allah does not make mistakes in writing destinies. If something leaves, it is not because it was never meant for you. It is because the time you are in cannot hold it safely yet. We often call this loss, but in Allah's system, it is protection. It is Allah placing distance between you and something precious, so it does not break you, and so you do not break it. Your heart feels the empty space and thinks something has been taken forever. But Allah sees something out of place that needs to be corrected first. Sometimes the heart is too tired, too fearful, or too attached. Sometimes the situation around you is unstable. Sometimes you would have suffered more if it stayed. So Allah gently removes it, not to punish you, but to guard both you and what belongs to you. From your side, it looks like disappearance. From Allah's side, it is careful holding. What feels like silence is actually restraint. What feels like distance is timing being protected. If Allah wrote it for you, it does not vanish just because you cannot see it anymore. It remains safe beyond your sight, beyond your understanding, waiting for the moment when your heart is calmer, your trust is stronger, and your life is ready to receive it without pain. What Allah writes is not lost. It is only kept away until the right moment makes it a mercy instead of a burden. Allah does not return things to the same heart. When Allah allows something to return to your life, He never brings it back to the same heart that lost it before. Allah is gentle, but He is also wise. He does not repeat pain without purpose. If something returned while your heart was still fearful, needy, or unstable, it would hurt you the same way again. That is why time passes. That is why silence happens. That is why you are changed in the waiting. Allah is not delaying the return because He is ignoring you. He is waiting for your heart to grow stronger, calmer, and more rooted in trust. Before, your heart may have been holding too tightly. You may have been afraid to lose it. You may have depended on it for peace instead of finding peace in Allah. If that same heart received it again, it would carry the same fear, the same anxiety, and the same pain. So Allah works on you first. He teaches you patience when nothing is happening. He teaches you self-respect when you are tempted to chase. He teaches you trust when answers are slow. Quietly, without you noticing, your heart becomes different. When something is truly meant to return, it comes back to a heart that is no longer desperate for it. A heart that can hold it without panic. A heart that can accept it without losing itself. That change is not small. It is the reason the return is safe. If you are still reacting the same way, still afraid in the same places, still needing it to feel whole, then the return would not be mercy. It would be repetition. Allah does not repeat lessons until you are destroyed. He repeats them until you are ready. So if nothing has come back yet, it does not mean it is gone forever. It means Allah is still shaping the heart that will receive it. And when that heart is ready, the return will not hurt the way it once did. What returns by Allah comes with clarity, not confusion. When Allah brings something back into your life, it does not arrive in confusion. Allah is not unclear. He does not send mixed signals to the heart. What comes from Him carries calm understanding, not emotional chaos. Before, you may have felt unsure. You may have questioned where you stood, what you meant, or what direction things were going. Confusion drains the heart. It creates fear, overthinking, and constant doubt. Allah does not return something to keep you trapped in that state again. What Allah allows to return comes with a sense of knowing, not loud excitement, but quiet clarity. You are not guessing your place. You are not reading between lines. You are not chasing reassurance. The heart feels steady because the situation is clear. If something comes back and immediately makes you anxious, restless, or unsure again, that is not return. That is a test. It is something familiar knocking to see if you will fall back into old patterns. Allah's writing does not reopen wounds without healing them first. Clarity does not mean everything is perfect or easy. It means you know where you stand. You know what is expected. You know the direction things are moving in. There is honesty, openness, and emotional safety. Allah does not confuse the heart with what He has chosen for it. If confusion returns, it is a sign to pause, not to cling. What truly comes from Allah settles the heart instead of disturbing it. What Allah returns brings peace to the mind and firmness to the soul. It does not leave you guessing. Time does not weaken what Allah intends. Time changes many things, but it does not change what Allah intends. People may forget, feelings may fade, and situations may move on, but Allah's will is not weakened by days or years passing. What He decides is not fragile. It does not depend on how long something has been gone. We often think that if enough time passes, something must be over forever. The heart tells us, if it was meant to happen, it would have happened by now. But Allah's timing does not work that way. Delay does not mean denial. Silence does not mean the story has ended. If something is truly meant for you, time will not destroy it. Distance will not erase it. Even long gaps of absence will not cancel it. Allah does not rush what is meant to last, and He does not fear delay the way we do. At the same time, time also reveals truth. If something disappears completely with time and leaves no space, no pull, no return in any form, then it was never meant to stay forever. Allah allows time to quietly remove what does not belong in your future. So time is not working against you, it is working for you. It protects what is written and removes what is not. What Allah intends will reach you at the moment when it can stay, not just arrive. Nothing that is written for you can expire, and nothing that expires was meant to define your life. Allah separates you from what you hold incorrectly. Sometimes, Allah does not remove something from your life because it is bad or wrong. Sometimes, He removes it because the way you are holding it is hurting you. You may be holding too tightly, fearing its loss, or tying your peace and self-worth to it. And Allah, in His mercy, does not allow His gifts to become a source of pain. When the heart clings too much, it forgets balance. It starts depending on creation instead of trusting the Creator. Without realizing it, love turns into fear, hope turns into anxiety, and attachment turns into pressure. Allah sees this before you do. So, He creates space. That space is not punishment, it is correction. It is Allah teaching the heart how to hold things without losing itself, how to care without control, how to love without fear of collapse. When something is taken away in this way, it is often because Allah wants to remove the unhealthy grip, not the blessing itself. He wants to free your heart before returning anything to it. A heart that is calmer, stronger, and no longer desperate can receive safely. Allah does not take things to hurt you. He takes them to heal the way you are holding them. And if something returns after that, it no longer owns your peace. You can hold it with trust, not fear. What Allah gives back never replaces Him in the heart. Return is never a rewind of the past. When Allah allows something to return to your life, it is never meant to take you back to the past. Allah does not move time backward. He moves hearts forward. A return is not a chance to relive what was, but an opportunity to experience what has been corrected. The past version of the connection carried weakness, imbalance, or immaturity that could not last. That is why it broke. Allah does not bring something back in the same form that caused pain before. He removes what was unhealthy and leaves only what can survive. If something returns, it does not come with the same habits, the same emotional patterns, or the same confusion. Expectations change. Boundaries become clearer. The way you speak, react, and understand becomes calmer. That difference is the real sign of mercy. Wanting things to be exactly as they were is often a sign that the heart is still attached to memory, not wisdom. Allah does not answer prayers by repeating what already failed. He answers by refining what was incomplete. A true return feels new, even if it is familiar. It does not reopen old wounds. It does not bring back the same fears. It arrives in a way that protects both sides from repeating the same mistakes. What Allah returns is not the past coming back. It is a healed version moving forward. What is written never requires self-betrayal. Anything that is truly written by Allah for you will never ask you to betray yourself. Allah does not place His blessings on the other side of humiliation, desperation, or emotional collapse. If something requires you to beg, chase endlessly, or lower your dignity just to keep it, that is not how Allah gives. When something is meant for you, effort feels balanced. You are not the only one holding things together. You are not constantly afraid that one wrong move will make everything fall apart. Allah does not make you earn what He has written through suffering of the soul. Many people confuse patience with self-erasure. Patience does not mean silencing your needs, ignoring your values, or shrinking yourself to stay connected. Allah never asks you to lose your identity to receive what belongs to you. What is written comes to you in a way that allows you to remain whole. You do not have to perform. You do not have to overextend. You do not have to sacrifice your self-respect just to be chosen. If something truly comes from Allah, it strengthens you instead of draining you. It supports your dignity instead of testing how much of yourself you are willing to give up. Allah's gifts do not demand self-betrayal. They arrive in a way that lets you stay honest, grounded, and at peace with who you are. Delay is protection from a greater loss. When Allah delays something you deeply want, it is not because He is unaware of your pain. He sees every tear, every silent prayer, and every moment of waiting. Delay is not Allah turning away. It is Allah protecting you from a loss you cannot yet see. Sometimes, receiving something too early would lead to its destruction. The heart might not be ready. The situation might not be stable. The wisdom needed to protect it might not yet be formed. Allah knows what would happen if it arrived now, even when you cannot imagine it. What feels like waiting is often Allah preventing future heartbreak. He delays so that when something does come, it can stay without causing harm. Immediate answers are not always mercy. Sometimes they are tests that end in regret. Delay also gives space for growth. It teaches patience without desperation, trust without fear, and strength without bitterness. The waiting changes you quietly. One day, you look back and realize that if it had arrived earlier, you would not have been able to hold it with care. Allah delays what you would have lost later. He shields His blessings from being damaged by emotional rush or incomplete readiness. Delay is not denial. It is mercy disguised as time. What Allah protects through delay reaches you in a form that lasts, not one that leaves you broken. What Allah returns settles the soul, not the ego. There is a big difference between what excites the ego and what settles the soul. The ego wants intensity, attention, and constant reassurance. It wants to feel chosen loudly and quickly. The soul, however, longs for calm, safety, and steadiness. What Allah returns always speaks to the soul, not the ego. When something truly comes back by Allah's will, it does not make your heart restless. It does not keep you awake with overthinking. It does not make you afraid of losing it again. Instead, it brings a quiet sense of ease. You feel grounded, not intoxicated. The ego chases emotional highs. It thrives on drama and urgency. But Allah does not guide His servants through chaos. What He gives does not pull you into obsession or emotional dependency. It allows you to breathe. If something returns, and suddenly your peace disappears, your anxiety increases, or your fear grows stronger, that return is not from Allah. It is a test of attachment. Allah's gifts do not demand constant emotional energy to maintain them. What Allah returns fits into your life gently. It does not overpower you. It does not consume your thoughts. It strengthens your inner calm and allows you to remain focused, present, and balanced. What comes from Allah feels safe inside the soul. It does not inflate the ego. It settles the heart. If it never returns, its purpose was completed. Sometimes, the hardest truth to accept is that not everything is meant to return. And this does not mean you failed, or that Allah denied you something good. It means the purpose of that part of your life was completed. Some things enter your life to teach you, to wake you up, to strengthen you, or to redirect you. Once that work is done, Allah removes them quietly. Holding on after that point would only delay your growth and keep you tied to a chapter that has already ended. If something never comes back, not in the same form, not in a different form, not even as a replacement, it is because Allah decided that its role in your story was finished. Not because it was worthless, but because it had already given you what you needed. Allah does not withhold what belongs to your future. He only removes what would limit it. What leaves permanently is often making space for something far better aligned with who you are becoming. Closure does not always come with explanations. Sometimes it comes with acceptance. When you trust that Allah completed that chapter with wisdom, the heart softens and peace slowly replaces the questions. What does not return was never meant to stay forever. And what Allah has written for your future will come without needing to replace the past. So if something left your life and you still wonder about it, do not rush to call it loss. And if something has not returned yet, do not assume it has been forgotten. Allah does not misplace destinies. He completes them with care. What is written for you is not running from you. It is being protected from arriving in a way that would hurt you. And what was removed was not taken lightly. It was released with wisdom, not cruelty. Trust this completely. Allah never breaks hearts without healing them through understanding. Every delay, every distance, every ending is measured. Nothing is random, nothing is wasted. If it returns, it will return with clarity, dignity, and peace. And if it does not, it has already fulfilled its role in shaping who you are becoming. Place your heart where it is safest with Allah. What He writes will always reach you at the moment it can bless you, not burden you.